Hey everyone, it's Amy here and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a love it or leave it review on some brand new products from Flower Beauty. Now I had never tried anything from Flower Beauty other than the translucent and the light colored setting powder, which I absolutely love the setting powder in the shade light. Not crazy about the translucent powder, but that kind of had sparked my interest to try more products and then when I had seen that there were all these brand new products on Instagram, I was like, oh, I have to try this. This stuff looks amazing. And it is. I'm going to tell you right now, this stuff is really good. So I'm going to talk about the highlighting palette. I'm going to talk about the contouring highlight palette, the eyeshadow palette, and 3 of the brand new blush pots. Now you can purchase the Flower Beauty line at Walmart. I did purchase mine all in store. I am now seeing in the last week that they did put these products up online at walmart.com, so those are available in stores and online as well now. But let's go ahead and start off with these blushes. Oh my gosh, I love these. So there was a total of 4 of these that came out. I did get 3 and I will tell you why in a second. So these are the Flower Pots Powder Blushes. And they came out with a total of 4 and they are $8.98 each. So here's what they look like. They kind of remind me of the Milani Rose blushes. They are a little bit smaller, but the whole concept of it being a flower and a rose, it just totally reminds me of Milani, but I actually really like these and I like them a little bit better than my Milani blushes. So this first shade is the shade that I have on and the one you'll see in the demo, and this is the shade Warm Hibiscus. This is a beautiful warm rosy color and it has this gorgeous gold iridescence about it. I absolutely love this. You will also see swatches in a little bit. This is my favorite out of all 4 shades. It warms up the skin. It is just really pretty. It's not too pigmented at once. They are pigmented, but they're really buildable, which I like because this can be an intimidating color at first, but it's really natural looking on the skin. It really just enhances your beauty, and then with the gold reflex, it's stunning. I've just been absolutely head over heels with this color. The next shade is just kind of a coral shade, and this is called Peach Primrose. So this is a corally peach color. So here is what it looks like. Really pretty. Now as far as the finishes, this first one I showed you, the Warm Hibiscus, this is the only one that has shimmer in it. This one is a flat matte, as well as the next shade I'm going to show you is a flat matte as well. And this one is called Sweet Pea, and this is a really pretty, like perfect mauve shade. This reminds me a ton of a Milani one. I can't think of the name, but really pretty. Now as far as the texture goes, they all have a little bit of a drier formula. I will say that this one, the Warm Hibiscus, because it has that gold in there and the texture is a little bit different, this one's a little bit more creamy, whereas the other ones are more of a dry powder, but they aren't powdery by any means, and they don't have a ton of kick up. They are just super easy to pick up on a brush. Now as far as the blushes go, I find that I like to use my MAC 163 brush. These pick them up nicely. They don't pick up too much pigment all at once. If I use one of my Sigma brushes, like I can't remember the number, Sigma F59 or something like that, which is a black synthetic brush, that one can pick up a little bit too much pigment at once. So I like to go in with my goat haired brush. This one doesn't pick up too much product and it disperses it evenly, and then I can continue to build it up until my desired shade is on the skin. So these are really great. Here are what these shades look like. They are just so stunning. You can see this one at the top is the Warm Hibiscus, how it has some reflex in them. I absolutely love these. These are super easy to use, and they are 6 grams for $8.98. So I think they are an excellent value. I think they are adorable packaging. I think they're really great quality. They're pigmented. They have beautiful colors for all different skin tones. Now the 4th shade I did not get was kind of a bright hot pink, and the reason I did not get it is because I found that the shade that comes in the Lift and Sculpt contour palette was almost identical, so I didn't feel like I needed it. But if you don't get this palette, then this shade right here in the middle was pretty much the 4th shade in the flower pot. So just keep that in mind in case you wanted an individual shade of this. So now that I'm holding it, let's go ahead and move on to the Lift and Sculpt contouring palette. Now this is the one I could not find online. I believe it was $12.98, the same price as the highlighter palette that I will talk about in a second. Now they do have 2 shades in this palette. I got the shade light to medium, which is CT1, and then I believe they had one that was darker for medium and deep skin tone. So I'm super glad that they did that. That way there's 2 palettes for everyone. As far as the formula goes in here, I find that these are super duper soft. And what I mean by that is these are actually not pressed into a pan and then glued into the palette. These powders are actually glued into the palette themselves. So because of that, the first time I purchased it, I don't think I hid it with anything in my purse, but when I got it home, this had completely crumbled the bronzer side, like completely crumbled, and I could see that it wasn't sitting inside a pan inside the palette. There's a chance this could break, so I'd be really careful with this one if you intend on traveling with it. But these are really pigmented. They are super easy to use and they build up really nicely. So I think it's much easier to use really fluffy brushes than it is to use dense brushes, because they are highly pigmented. You don't need a dense brush to pick up a lot of products. So fluffy brushes work excellent. So like my Real Techniques Multitask Cheek Brush. This one's really fluffy to pick up a lot of product without messing up any of the product in the pan, and then blending it on the skin, and it just blends out effortlessly. And then duo fiber brushes are also really great to blend everything out if you want to create more of a seamless look. Everything blends out like spectacularly. I love how easy they are to use. So like I said, these are really soft in the pan, so you don't need to do a lot of digging to pick up the product. So like one swipe is going to get you that much pigment on your hand. You don't need to go around swirling. If you do, you will get a lot of kick up because these are very soft. So just light little swatches and picking up on your brush, and then you can see how pigmented that is. Like, oh, I love it. Now as far as the highlighter goes, again, really soft. And watch this, you guys. One swipe. Look at that. Is that not stunning? It's incredible how soft and pigmented these are, but if you put too much pressure, they are going to have a lot of kick up. So I'll talk about it in the highlighting palette as well, but again, fluffy brushes work the best. Now if you want an intense, like you saw how intense that was with one swipe across. If you want it extremely intense, yes, you can go in with a dense brush, but make sure to place your brush on it and just kind of swipe back and forth really lightly. Don't dig in your brush. Otherwise you're going to get a lot of kick up and you're going to waste a lot of product. So what works best is taking a fluffy brush. My Morphe M501 is the one I like to use and the one I used in the demo. I literally just tap it in and kind of just roll it for a second, and you're going to have way more product than you even need. So make sure to tap it off, otherwise you will get a lot of fallout, and then you're going to get an intense highlight like I have right here. Like, oh, I love it. And then this is just gorgeous. You can build it up with a fluffy brush, or you can use a much denser brush, but just be careful putting it in the pan. So overall, this is a really great palette. I love the fact that they came in 2 different shades for everyone's skin tones. Highlighter is gorgeous, insanely pigmented as you saw. The blush is really pretty. Out of the 3 in here, this is the most powdery, is this blush. And what I love about this is how easily blendable it is, because it is a warmer tone, which is not what I typically lean with. I love that I can blend it out and sheer it out and make it a little bit more natural looking than a really harsh, warm tone on my skin. So I love this palette as well. Now on to the star of the show. Like, you guys, this highlighter palette, like if you love the highlighter that was in that last contour palette, these are absolutely stunning. They are the same exact formula. Amazing. It retails for $12.98. I have it in the shade SP1. I can't remember. I think, again, there is a second shade. So here is what the palette looks like. Absolutely stunning. Let me show you. I don't know if I showed you up close just in case, but here is what the contour and the blush and the highlighter palette looks like. Just absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, these are incredible. So let me swatch to the first shade right next to that other one. So as you can see, they are essentially almost the same exact color. This shade is a little bit darker than the shade that comes in this palette, but I wanted you guys to see how close they are, because you may not need all of this. So let me go ahead and swatch the other 2. I mean, these are so pigmented. Look at that. It's insane. Absolutely insane, considering these are $10 and drugstore. Like, look at that. Aren't those gorgeous? Like, oh, these colors are absolutely stunning. Again, silky, smooth, intensify them, make them more glowy and natural. You can literally do whatever you want with these. Literally, like I said, you just tap, 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 and you have so much product on your brush, like more than you even need. So these are incredibly silky, smooth, beautiful on the skin, long wearing, absolutely gorgeous. You can use them as eyeshadows, you can use them, you know, as inner corner highlights, whatever you want. These are absolutely stunning. So the highlighters are definitely a must and I love it. Now on to the last item I'm going to talk about, and this is the new Flower Beauty eyeshadow palette. And this is the Shimmer and Shade eyeshadow palette in the shade Golden Natural. I believe they have 3 different palettes that came out. A rosy toned one, a darker smokier one, and this golden one. And this retails you for $14.98, and you get a total of 10 shades in this palette. But it says you do get a $6 value brush in here. Now I actually really like this brush. It's kind of just a fluffy brush to fluff in some of these darker shades in the crease, and I really like it because it's fluffy. It's got a nice texture to it, so it picks up product really easily, and it's really tiny. Because if you guys can see, these are tiny little pans in this palette. So like a typical Sigma E40 that I would use with this transition shade right here kind of gets mixed in with the other 2 shades next to it. It doesn't fit perfectly in here. So keep that in mind, but like a blending brush, like a MAC 242, that will fit in here really easily. A flat definer brush to pick up some of these colors and pack on the lid will fit, but like your fluffier brushes like a Sigma E40 are going to be a little big and you're going to have to kind of round them and get them in there. So I actually really like the brush it comes with because I just use this brush and then use my smaller brushes for the rest of the product. So I actually really like the quality of the brush for once. So overall with this palette, I do think they are nice. It says in the description, it's got a very lengthy description, that these are basically like professional grade eyeshadows. I don't agree with that. I don't think these are the best eyeshadows in the world. I think they're good. I mean, you get 10 eyeshadows for $15. I do think that is on the pricier side compared to like the True Naked little palettes from, is that CoverGirl? I think so, like compared to that, or like the 24 karat gold from Maybelline, stuff like that. I do think this is on the pricier side. I do think this quality is better than like the Naked palettes from CoverGirl and like the 24 karat nudes. I do like the quality better. I think they have a longer staying power and more pigmentation to these, but the texture is very similar. So if you're familiar with those palettes, the texture of this and the way it feels and how they're like a little bit crumbly is the same. But overall, I do like these better, but I don't think these are the best eyeshadows in the world. I think they're okay. I think they have a decent lasting power by themselves. Wear them with a primer and they are going to last 8 hours before fading. Overall, I like this product. I think it's good. I think it's a little overpriced, and I don't think they're comparable to professional grade eyeshadows like they claim. But from the drugstore, which I'm very picky with finding actual eyeshadows from the drugstore that I like, I do actually really like this palette, especially compared to like the CoverGirl and the Maybelline palettes. I do think this one is better, but out of all the products that I've talked about, this is the one I would go pick up last again. I would go and pick up the highlighting palettes, I'd go pick up the blushes, I'd pick up the contour palette, and this would be last. But I do think it is worth giving it a try, but I'd say this one is a like it, because I try to reserve love it's for like the best items in the world that you absolutely must go out and try right now. And I don't think this makes that cut, but I don't think it's a leave it. I don't think it's a bad product. So this is a like it, and I think all the other products are absolute love it's. The pigmentation, the long-lasting power, like the insane intensity, these are just absolutely amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review of the new Flower Beauty products. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!